Welcome back to Miller's Off-Road. Does your Can-Am Outlander have a squeaky steering wheel?
Oh, okay. Yep.
I'm going to show you how to fix it right now. This is a 2020 Can-Am Outlander 850, and we are doing some rear end work on it. We've got this thing completely stripped apart. So right now, right here in this garage, we're going to fix the squeaking problem with the steering wheel. I'm not going to show you how to get to this point because it'd be too time consuming in the video, but obviously you have to take the breather box off. We did go ahead and take all these plastics off because we're doing some maintenance on the belt box, the axles, all that. So we thought, why not go ahead and fix the bad problem that everyone has on a Can-Am Outlander. So we've got this side stripped off too, all the plastics here. Obviously you have to take the front rack off. You've got to take this part of the plastics off. And so for years, we've just shot WD-40 and all kinds of different lubricants down that steering shaft. And we figured out real quick why this is an issue. So let's go ahead and get into this video a little bit. We'll show you how you can fix it. But the main thing that you need to know, yes, to fix this properly, to fix it right where it will never squeak again, you have to strip your bike down to this point. So if you don't want to do that, you don't want to go through all that work, you might as well just skip the rest of the video. You have to get to this point to fix it right. So I'm here with Matt in the garage, and he was pointing out all the dust from...
Yeah, that's from us spraying the lubricant on it, and because it just attracts dust. And look at all that getting down inside of where we were putting it, and it's really just a temporary solution, and it's not even a good temporary solution. We're talking 5 minutes on the trail, the squeaks are gone, and they come right back at
Yeah, so it's just a temporary solution to lube up that steering shaft. And the reason why, the whole culprit here is this yoke. It's like a nylon bushing, and once it dries out, all of that penetrating oil or lubricant or whatever you want to use, this is so tight right here that it will not actually penetrate that nylon bushing, correct?
If it does,
it's very little. Yeah, it just comes out the bottom side and dries out again. So the first thing that we really need to do is we need to take this cover off of this bushing. We've got to expose the bushing first. 13 millimeter. You can put torque on that wrench, by the way. That specific wrench is rated for 150 pounds of nut busting torque without damaging it, supposedly. There you go. There we go. Eyes in on that. Oh yeah.
I've just split it open.
I see that.
And that thing will rotate inside of there.
Okay.
You can. It's got so much grit and grime in there.
So this is what Matt's doing right here. See that? He just took a straight screwdriver, and he's just trying to get that off. There's that bushing.
Look how dry that is.
So there's your squeaking, folks. It's the inside of that bushing, and when that clamps on there, it's so tight.
Well, look what happened. Look.
Yeah.
So we had both. This was where these were.
Yep.
These were both sitting on the top.
Right.
Okay.
Those O-rings, those rubber O-rings.
Those O-rings are supposed to be sitting inside.
It's
here.
crazy, isn't it?
So I don't know what happened, but that comes
Yeah.
from the factory with grease inside of it.
Right. And once that grease is gone,
Yep.
it's gone.
Then you're gonna squeak.
Yep.
And this will just rotate around. Just like that.
There you go. So you got to get that entire bushing off the steering shaft, right?
Yep.
Okay. There you go. So now we need to clean this up, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I had a lot less miles on mine when I took it off.
Yeah.
And I was feeling the wear of what it did, and it's got a groove there, but it's not real bad.
On the
Josh
steering
has
shaft.
how many miles?
He's
on
got,
this?
I believe it's 3,000. Yeah, it's 3,000 miles. He's 10 miles short of being 3,000 even.
And the wear is exactly what mine is. So that
And
must
yours,
be
when you
back-
did yours, how many miles did you have on it?
man, maybe
700?
500.
Oh, 400 or 500, and it was already squeaking.
Yeah.
So crazy. All right. So there's those two bushings. That's how it goes together. The steering shaft runs through that.
And
And
you
it's,
can
it's supposed to have those O-rings in there.
you can see some of the grease from the factory is dried and sitting in there.
Yeah.
That's just there's nothing there.
Yeah. So we need a way to grease that, to clean up that steering shaft. Crock cloths, man. If you've never tried these are the scrub flavor. So they have one side that's abrasive. These are absolutely fantastic. They'll clean up grease all over your hands. Wonderful, wonderful product. So we're gonna clean that up with a crock cloth, the bushing, and then I'm gonna go ahead and grab another one. You get 80 of these things, and they're actually large enough to do something with. So we really like them. So we're gonna clean up everything, get it nice and fresh. I just took this crocodile cloth and ran it on the back side here of this yoke, or whatever you want to call this, that holds the bushing. Man, look at this dried grease that came out of there. We want to clean all that up. So this steering shaft actually moves pretty good. So you can actually pick it up and move it so that you can get one of these crock cloths in behind there. We just want to clean it up the best we can. We want to clean those O-rings up. Here's one that's clean. Nice and cleaned up. All right, here's what you've got to do. At least this is what we've done on another machine, and it's working great. This is the cover cleaned up. This is the bushing. First, let's focus on the cover. We've got here a tap and die. So we're fixing to tap a grease zert into this bushing cover. Remember, this is what came off right here. Goes right over the bushing. Okay, where's that the thing? Oh, here it is. This is what Matt has rigged up here. So you've basically got a grease zert 90. Is that what you'd call that? Grease zert 90?
Yeah, it's a 12-inch long.
Okay.
It's a quarter by 28.
Can you order this entire thing just like this, set up, ready to go? Lock and lube, ready to go.
Yep.
All right, so I will try to put the link in the description below for this. You'll share that link with me, right, Matt?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So this is it's a 12-inch lock and lube, and basically what it's got is it's got a grease zert 90 on this end, and then the actual grease zert that you're going to put your grease gun on is right here. Here's the next step, folks. We put this 1/2 of the nylon bushing back in that cover, and now we've tapped through the actual bushing as well. So that's important before you start tapping. You got to drill through the cover and 1/2 of the bushing. So now we're going to start actually tapping it. We've got to get some threads in there for that grease zert. We just screwed this cover to a 4x4 just to give it a little bit of stability. Kind of helps us hold it in place nice and straight. Now we're tapped and we've got threads. Now you can see we have effectively cut grooves on the inside of this bushing. That way when the grease is pumped in, it has an opportunity to move all the way around the shaft
because we're adding in this extra piece here that's width.
Yep.
Because essentially it's going to go right here, and it's actually going to go further because we've got the bracket and the bushing, and so it's pushing out on our brake line.
Right.
So we're going to take this and we're going to cut this piece of plastic out so that we have room, and then we're replacing this bolt and spacing that away like that.
Okay. So what's the
putting a
piece of
spacer
plastic
in
that
here.
you're cutting off?
We're gonna cut this plastic off right here. We're gonna cut right here along this line
Gotcha.
and right here.
Gotcha. Just to get it out of there.
Yep, and then we're gonna
It's
put
really
a space.
unnecessary
Yeah, we'll put a spacer between these two to bring this
to
out.
bring that out, to have room for the 90, right?
Yep. And so here's what we took out. That's the bolt we took out. We're extending it by, I don't know, half an inch.
About a half inch,
And that's 6 millimeter by
Whatever that is.
10 by 40 millimeter.
Okay, so there's the bolt size that you potentially need.
And then the spacer is right here.
Yeah, so it's just a nylon spacer, just to bring that off, so. This little Dremel tool really comes in handy for these tight spaces. You want me to hold that brake line for you?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Don't cut that brake line. Yeah, it's a little tight in it.
Yeah.
There you go. See, we got our spacer in there. And now you're just tightening down that brake line block, is that right?
Yep. Just so it doesn't bounce around, that's all it's there for.
Right. All right, so now this block for the brake line is spaced off of the steering shaft. Yep. There you go. And that's going to give us room for the greaser. There we go. So we got our lock and lube on. We're just pumping a little bit of grease from this tube. There we go. So now we have verified that there's grease in our lock and lube tube, and now we're actually going to install the bushing dry to see what happens when we start pumping grease in it, right?
So we have a little bit of threads.
Popping through the bushing.
Yep, holding the bushing as well.
Just kind of holding the bushing to the
Just-
guard, isn't it?
Just
Or the cover.
just one or two threads is all. Is pushing those O-rings down.
Getting them kind of semi-lined up with our grooves, right?
Yeah, and the way that this goes is this is the bottom. This big section is the bottom.
Okay, so that goes down.
That goes down. What I like to do is start this top one or this back one. Just line up your,
Yep.
line them up and get it on there, and then you're gonna rotate it around.
I got you.
But you have to make sure that it's in, that the O-rings are in.
Yeah, gotta be in their grooves. I think you're looking good there.
Just like that.
Beautiful.
We in our grooves?
I think so. It looks like they are. So now you're ready for the front bushing, the front half of it, and the cover, right?
Correct.
Okay. Keep in mind, folks, he's already got that grease zerk extension is all it is. I guess that's what I'd call it, a grease zerk extension. He's already got that on there. And you can see how far it's sticking out. That's why we had to trim the plastic. That's why we had to use a longer screw with a spacer. And now you're just pushing that together.
Yep. That's it.
So we do have the lock and lube adapter on our DeWalt grease gun. There we go. So it's locked on to our extension, which is also called a lock and lube, I guess, the extension. All right, so let me get up here close. Let's see what happens when Matt pumps a little grease in there. You got some on your side?
Yep.
Oh, nice. Get that baby floating, man. Yeah. Need to push back just a hair. There we go. Yeah. All right. Now, do you want me to move it as you pump?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And go ahead. Oh, I'm seeing it. Here's what we're going to do, folks. Just because we're already this deep into it, just out of pure curiosity, we're actually going to take the cover and the bushing back off just to look at it, just to see how much grease got in there. So we'll zip this off. And there we go. Now we just want to take that cover off. Yeah. Just to see what it looks like. Did we get grease where it needed to? Look at that. The entire shaft is got grease on it. There was no grease. There was no grease on that bushing when we first started. We literally put it in there dry. And now there's grease all the way around. So you can see, folks, it works. And I think it's going to work very, very well. And this is how you're going to eliminate all your squeaks. Nice. Look at that. It's all around the back side, too. If you lift the steering wheel up, I can see green all the way at the top. Down the back. Oh, yeah, you're just going to take that out. Look at that.
All the way around.
All the way around it. So that distributed it very well. Got it put back together, got the grease cleaned up around it, and we are very happy with that. Now, Matt, this extra hose here, you're gonna loop it around this belt box breather, correct?
Yeah, probably back behind here because the...
Do you want to go ahead and do that for the folks at home? You want me to disconnect this?
Yeah, that's
right. Mm-hmm. I'll just set this grease gun aside. So kind of as an example of where you're going to put this extension, that's really what we need to call it. It's just a grease zerk extension, and then there you go. So there it's sticking out of your plastics. Once you get all these plastics put back together, that's what it's going to look like. Now, if you wanted it longer, you could order, what, a 15-inch mat, something like that? You can. This is a 12-inch model, and this one's been okay for us. We do have this lock and lube adapter on this grease gun, so that really helps to just quickly attach it. You don't have to put another hand. In other words, I don't have to hold my hand on this and attach the grease gun to it. You can just lock it on, squirt you some grease in, and you're done. So makes it really easy, and you can see how that just tucks away. Now, next step is getting all this put back together, and we're not going to actually show how to do that because if you've made it to this point, you've figured that out. But just as an overview, the very first step we need to take is put our breather box back on. Is that right?
Yep.
So we got to put our breather box back on, and then we'll start putting I guess our front plastic's on, right? Oh, we got to put that little frame on. Okay. Then our front plastics. It's just reverse order how you've taken it apart. Then the rack, all of this. These plastics here are very easy. If you've done an oil change, they want you to pull the floorboards. Why we have these off in the first place is because these bushings are both worn out. The sway bar bushings are worn out, so we've got new sway bar bushings coming, and we had to replace this back axle because we had a torn boot on this axle, and it's just easier, in my opinion, just to buy a new axle for 80 bucks. This is a high lifter axle, and we're replacing those bushings and the shocks as well. The suspension is gone. 3,000 miles on this machine, and the rear suspension's gone, which we ride rocky terrain if you've watched our videos. And we did take the belt box cover off because Josh hit a log and it blew through the belt box cover and destroyed the seal, so we're having to put a new belt box cover on and a seal. That kind of gives you an overview of why we've got it so far apart, but that's also why we wanted to go ahead and tackle this. This is not like a quick, fast process, but once you do it, you'll never have a steering wheel squeaking problem again. I promise you. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button down below and give me a big thumbs up. It really helps the video, helps me bring you more videos, and we really appreciate the support too. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. We wish we would have had this video and this information before we had done the first Can-Am that we put the grease zerk on to fix the steering wheel squeaking issue. So we wanted to put this out there because we didn't see any other videos outlining how to fix this. It's really pretty simple. It's just the time spent taking the plastics apart, taking the rack off. Once you get to that bushing, it's really a piece of cake, honestly. So once again, appreciate the support, and we will see you on the next one.